Welcome to Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Graham O'Brien and some of today's news bulletin: Nelson Police Management under spotlight, extraordinary meeting for Trafalgar Centre, children's events on in Nelson and much more. A new workplace survey within Nelson Police is suggesting that morale has taken a major dive, with more staff feeling disengaged, uninspired and underpaid. And when asked what one thing that was needed to change to make police a great place to work, the finger was pointed at management. These results show Nelson Bay's police has taken a hit in every aspect of job satisfaction in the year to February, falling below most national averages. Across the Tasman district, fewer police felt inspired to go the extra mile in their jobs, less than a third of staff felt that their views were valued, and 63.5% of staff did not think communication was open and honest. Less than half of the 264 staff surveyed across the district did not feel that quality was a priority. Overall, job satisfaction dropped from 82.2% in 2014 to 58.1% this year. Management was identified as the main thing that needed changing in the Tasman district to make police a great place to work, followed by resources, communication and pay levels. There have been major changes in the region's police management in the past year, with former Tasman District Commander Superintendent Richard Chambers being promoted and moved to Auckland and replaced by Superintendent Karen Malthus. Meanwhile, in recent news, the West Coast top police officer and two of his senior sergeants have launched a $1.5 million defamation lawsuit against Superintendent Malthus last week, claiming that comments she had made to local media portrayed them as incompetent and having failed in their duties. Former Nelson Bay's Area Commander Steve Greeley also departed the region in February, taking a job as National Road Policing Manager in Wellington. That vacancy has not yet been filled. However, since the report findings, acting Nelson Bay's Area Commander, Inspector Matthew Arnold Kelly, said the leadership team was working with staff to improve working conditions. Last week we showed what was happening in Richmond for the school holidays, and with a week still to go, I asked Kathy Madigan what Uniquely Nelson is promoting to bring parents and kids to town in support of the local businesses during the quiet season. Kathy, thanks for sparing a few moments on this chilly morning.
Good morning, Graham. Yes, it is a bit nippy.
Can you tell us what's on in Nelson over this chilly month?
Well, even though it's winter, it's a good opportunity to come out. We're doing a campaign this year for the city called Feast for the Senses. A lot of it's around food and wine, and you may have heard we've got movable feasts, which people go around 3 different restaurants. Now, I have to say they're nearly fully booked, so they've been a great success, but there are lots of other things under the Feast campaign that people can do. And one of the things I really encourage everyone to do, which is free, is just come out once it's dark and wander around the city streets, and you can look at what we call Illuminate. And it's about 25 retail windows, all within easy walking distance of each other, and they've got these amazing artistic creations in there that are illuminated. So that's something you can bring the kiddies out, 5:30 onwards. It's pretty dark, just rug up nice and warm, come out and have a look at the windows, and then go get yourself a hot chocolate somewhere.
That sounds great. And your movable feast, you say it's nearly sold out. How many people have you got in these movable feasts, and how many are there?
We can take about 24 people on each movable feast. We've had 2 already. They're every Wednesday, and they've been hugely successful. So we've got 4 more dinners. So in total, I think that's about 150 people will participate on these movable feasts. It's been a great experience.
That sounds great, yeah. And how about, we've got another week of school holidays. Have you got what's on in particular for the kiddies over this week?
Well, that's right. Apart from Illuminate at night, there's lots for the kids to do during the day. We've got a beautiful day today, but if it was raining, it would be great to bring the kids into the museum. They've got the dinosaur exhibition on there. Elmer Turner Library, absolutely packed program of kids activities. Fairfield House has Body and Space, putting a kids show on there. The Farmers Market this Wednesday, they are participating in our Feast campaign, and they are doing a mask making activities with the children. So come along with that. There'll be clowns and entertainment as well. So a great way for the kids to get involved. There's lots for the families to do, and places to bring the kids to have some activity.
I'm sure the parents will be really glad to hear all of that that's going on.
Exactly, and I mean, if they need some energy to burn off, you might have heard there's new gym equipment being installed along the Maitai walkway, so take the kids down there and burn some energy off as well.
An extraordinary council meeting is being held on the 16th of July to receive the engineering advice which has been prepared for the reopening of the Trafalgar Centre. Engineering firm ARUP was commissioned by Council to carry out additional testing on the stability of the ground and the building, supplementing initial research conducted by Tompkin and Taylor. Nelson City Council's project manager Richard Kirby will be presenting these results to Council and explaining how they impact on structural strengthening work. Council will be talked through the most appropriate choices and the likely costs involved. Mr Kirby believes the results are significant and will help further guide Council into making a decision on the future of the centre. Nelson Mayor Rachel Reese said she is looking forward to making the right choice for Nelson now Council have some comprehensive advice to work with. The meeting is set to begin at 11 a.m. on Thursday this week. 21 rescue missions in June were considered a quiet month for our region's busy heli rescue service. Accident and emergency make up approximately 98% of the service's missions. Much of this work is in the 3 national parks and remote locations within the large expanse of country throughout the Nelson, Tasman, Marlborough and Buller area in which they operate. The service had a busy start to the year, looking at 3 call-outs a day in the peak summer months in many instances. However, even May was recorded as being a busy one for the rescue service, totalling 31 call-outs for the month. As a charitable trust, the Nelson Marlborough Helicopter Service Rescue requires funding through fundraising and sponsorship, and the service is currently looking for a principal sponsor. So anyone or any business that can see the merit in supporting this essential service can help for a mere $400,000 plus GST, with a portion of this which can be offset by your own fundraising initiatives and event revenue. How do you turn a bleak wall into a beautiful fantasy land for children? Just ask artist Monique Richards to put her thinking cap on, get some paints and let her go for it. Last week we did a short story on the library's new painted wall, and on Saturday I was at the official unveiling where I caught up with Monique and also with friends of the library chairperson Jill Ruthven about the mural. Monique, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk to us. Sorry to drag you away from the party over there.
No worries, you're welcome.
The murals look fantastic. Where'd you get the inspiration from for them?
Thank you. Oddly enough, I just had the idea of painting a jungle, and I'm not sure where that came from, but from that point some other ideas evolved with input from other people who said wouldn't it be great to have some children's characters in there, and then combining them just with animals seemed like a good idea, the next step. Yeah.
Sounds good. And what was the most difficult part for you, if there was one?
Probably there were a few challenges in terms of getting all the right kinds of permissions to do it. There were a lot of people we needed to consult in order to make sure that we didn't run into problems later with consent or anything like that. But I had Matt Laurie from the Nelson City Council to help with all of that stuff, so I was very lucky, otherwise it probably wouldn't have happened.
And we heard that you've been overseas, but you're from Nelson originally. What have you been doing over there?
I lived in Barcelona, and when I originally went there 3 years ago, I'd say, it was to do an art residency, so just spent a lot of time painting and being inspired and meeting amazing people. After that I wanted to go back, so I spent a year there teaching English and still managing to do quite a few art projects and just exploring and loving every second of it, basically. It was awesome.
And how's you feeling about coming back and being thrown straight into more work?
Oh, it was really good actually. Since I came back in the middle of summer, Nelson was incredibly busy. I was really surprised. I sort of thought it might be a bit slow for me and a bit quiet, and no way. There was so much happening here. It was cool. And I got my first mural project when I came back through the Little Beehive Co-op, which is an amazing little store here, and from that other jobs just came along when people saw that mural. I've managed to paint one out the back of Paper Plus, the walkway between Paper Plus and Buxton's car park, and then this was the next one after that, and it was all just word of mouth, Nelson being how Nelson is, and that was really cool.
Well, you haven't had much time for a break.
Actually, no, and that's been surprising too, and also really nice because at least everything I've been doing has been stuff that I love doing, so I'm lucky.
Jill, thanks for spending a few moments to talk to us.
Good afternoon.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the Nelson Friends of the Library does and how they're involved in this project?
Well, this time the Friends raise money for the library by selling the books and journals at our monthly book sales and at our trolley sales. Now this time we were given the opportunity, the project was pitched to us for funding for a mural. And when we saw what Matt had projected for us, we decided it was so wonderful that we would actually fund 2 murals for 2 windows. Now, this was just one good project. Another project we've done is we've given money for the toys and games in the children's library, materials for the young adult collection, trolleys for housebound deliveries, all sorts of things to do with the library. And this, as I said before, this is all raised from the book sales. So when you are actually coming into the library and you wonder, should I buy books off the trolley or come to a book sale, please come and do it, because it's going back into the library.
Rainbow Ski Field opening took place last week and was described as being the best ever, with music by local musician Bryce Wasney, power runs, snowball fights, tobogganing and the T-bar in full operation. The weather has certainly been going the ski field's way, with days like today offering clear, calm conditions at 1 degree to keep things cool. As this week is the last of the 2-week school holiday period, and if the activities going on in town for the kids don't appeal, those adventurous outdoorsy parents wishing to partake in some snowy activities with their children at Rainbow Ski Field will need to fit chains on their 2-wheel drive vehicles at the bottom car park, and 4-wheel vehicles will require chains from Station 1. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
I'm Francis from Nelson Auto Glass. We repair all auto glass, stone chips, windscreen replacements, scratch removal.
If you have an auto glass issue, our team will sort it.
Nelson Auto Glass Specialists, 84 Vanguard Street, Nelson.
Welcome to Smugglers Pub and Cafe, open 7 days a week with free parking all day. Our lunch menus have that fat old-fashioned flavour where we treat you like treasure with the food you'll savour.
We cater for children, grannies and granddads too, with special rates and privileges given to the elderly lunchtime crew. Our staff are friendly and kind and want to see you all come back time after time.
Daytime or evening, it doesn't matter. Give us a call on 546 4084 and we'll be happy to spoil ya.
.1 The Shed.
We're the team at J-Car, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables, and much, much more. J-Car.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after-sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Victory 60 Plus is on Tuesdays at 1:30 through to 3:30 p.m. at 238 Upper Vanguard Street. You can join in for cards, games and a cuppa.
Sit and Be Fit is on at the Victory Community Centre Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. at the Victory Community Church, 238 Upper Vanguard Street. School terms only. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
G'day, it's your old mate the Mad Butcher, and you're watching Mainland TV.
Hi, my name's Ian Mortimer. Mortimer Auto Upholstery is your one-stop shop for all your upholstery needs. We do car and boat interiors, boat canopies, ute tonneau covers, canvas and PVC fabrication. Call in and see us in Oxford Mews, 72 Oxford Street, Richmond.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan, and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
World War I was a defining period in our history, impacting greatly on the lives of people from the Nelson province. Memories of the First World War is an exhibition which will be displayed in a number of regional venues and is currently on at the Nelson Provincial Museum.
Nelson Tire Center. Great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer. All types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
If you were born in the US after the mid-1990s, you most likely ingested a spin-off of NASA technology. Surprised? NASA spin-offs are everywhere. Ready? Let's see how many of these you've heard of before. Problem. Say you're an astronaut working outside the ISS using a wrench for hours at a time while wearing a bulky spacesuit. What do you do when your hand inevitably gets tired and you start losing grip strength? NASA's answer? How about not getting tired in the first place? NASA has developed a prototype robo-glove that actually amplifies the human grip. They modeled it on the robotic hand of something else pretty cool, the robotic astronaut, or Robonaut, which has already been tested on the ISS. Anyway, the RoboGlove tries to improve dexterity and reduce hand fatigue and repetitive motion stress for astronauts working on equipment during spacewalks. Next problem. The space station orbits Earth so fast that each new sunrise happens every 90 minutes. Not the best for your circadian rhythms, so how do astronauts get regular sleep? Alright, you know how driving a baby around in a car helps put it to sleep? Well, NASA funded researchers at Stony Brook University to analyze that very phenomenon. They found that hitting the ear with just the right vibrations could sync up the electrical signals going to the brain from the auditory system and from the vestibular system in the inner ear, which regulates balance. They tested extensively on hamsters, which apparently have really similar vestibular systems to humans, and eventually they figured out how to induce either wakefulness or sleep. So what's a spin-off? A downloadable insomnia app called Sleep Genius that combines that vibration research with classical music. Another spin-off? Sleepy hamsters. Next problem. Say you want to do an interplanetary manned mission. Ideally, you'd want to make the spacecraft a self-contained closed ecosystem that can produce its own oxygen, recycle its waste, and generate its own food in order to keep fuel costs down. So how do you do that? Well, back in the 80s, NASA experimented to see if microalgae could help. Think about it. Algae eat waste, make oxygen, and some can even make nutritional molecules. Now, after NASA's initial interest faded, some of the researchers kept the project going and realized that certain species of algae could synthesize a compound found in human breast milk called DHA, which turns out to be important for brain development in babies. Today, this microalgae derivative is in over 90% of the baby formula sold in the US, and nearly 2/3 of the baby formula sold worldwide. So, if you were born after the mid-1990s and went for the bottle over the boob, even once, you, my friend, drank NASA tech. Next up, You know those gantries on launch platforms? The ones that feed the rockets fuel and electricity through these fat umbilical cables? Okay, just before and during blastoff, the vibrations from a rocket engine are insane. So, how do you keep that gantry from shaking to pieces? And not just that, how do you get it to actually detach and fall away smoothly without swinging all over the place? Answer, with the best shock absorbers ever. And if you can dampen the vibrations from a firing rocket, how about dampening the vibrations from earthquakes? The same company that developed NASA's gantry shock absorbers modified the technology and installed it in buildings, in places that get lots of tremors like Tokyo and San Francisco. So that's right, the NASA spinoff in this case is earthquake-proof buildings. And so far, of the hundreds of buildings in which the dampeners have been installed, none have suffered even minor damage during a quake. Next problem. A space shuttle takeoff. It feels like about 3 Gs for the astronauts on board. Now during takeoff, they're all seated, kind of on their backs. So what material do you make those seats out of that would be firm enough to give support, but also have enough give that it wouldn't apply weird pressure points? Memory foam sounds like a pretty good candidate, right? Like in Tempur-Pedic beds? Well, where do you think memory foam came from? You got it, NASA. Now a really big problem. Astronauts in microgravity lose bone density 10 times faster than people on Earth with osteoporosis do. Muscle loss is also a major problem. So, how do you keep astronauts from falling apart in orbit? Answer, a chair that exercises for them. NASA funded some university researchers to experiment with targeted high-frequency vibrations that trick bones into thinking they're carrying weight so they won't deteriorate. While testing the system, the designers realized the vibrations also cause muscles to contract without voluntary effort. It's kind of like those ab belts on late-night infomercials, except this thing actually works. Now right now it's just in the prototype phase being used for experimental physical therapy, but in 10 years, I'm gonna be jacked. Here's a serious problem. Inside a spacesuit, a rise in core body temperature from overexertion could be incredibly dangerous since there's no easy way to get that heat out. So how do you monitor a person's core temperature when that person is inside a spacesuit floating in space? How about a pill that takes your temperature? That's right, ingestible thermometers. Literally a pill with sensors and transmitters that takes your temperature from the inside. Next problem. How can you get pilots to see other planes through fog? Yeah, pilots, remember, the A in NASA is aeronautics. Answer, infrared laser strobe lights connected to a video camera. See, fog is opaque to visible light, but somewhat transparent to infrared light. By timing the return time of the laser pulse echoes and using image rendering software, NASA-funded research has helped develop a kind of infrared sonar for fog. Now, you know what else is also transparent to infrared light? Smoke and fire. So I think you can see the spin-off coming. Goggles for firefighters that can see through walls of smoke and flame, which is super badass. Next problem. Say you want to grow plants in space for food and oxygen. Now plants need water, which is a precious resource on the space station that you don't want to waste. So, how do you know when to water plants in space? With NASA funding, university researchers developed a sensor that monitors plant leaf thickness, sends a plant health update to a computer, and then triggers automatic irrigation if needed. The spin-off? No brainer, put the system on farms. The tech is still quite a ways from commercial viability, but interestingly, the prototype systems being tested on farms now can send status updates over text message. That's right, text messaging plants. All pretty cool, right? If you want to learn more, NASA Spinoffs actually has its own YouTube channel, magazine, and Twitter account, all linked in the description. Let us know your favorite spinoff, or let us know any good ones we missed down in the comments. We might shout you out on the next episode of Spacetime. Last week we asked whether the first Mars mission should be all women. I'll get to your comments in a second, but first 2 announcements. 1, we want to poll you guys about episode topic categories for the show. So please click on the link below and let us know the kind of material that you'd like to see on Spacetime. Second, in next week's episode, I'll be explaining some more relativity stuff. Not directly time and space things, something else. But there will be a challenge question posed at the end of next week's episode, so please tune in. Okay, now to your comments. Magnus Wallentin and Jose Garcia both asked why I don't use the metric system. I do, almost always. I was talking about metric tons the whole episode. But NASA astronaut height requirements happen to be quoted in inches, so I reported them the same way. Sango Productions 21 checked a lot of our sources and did some great additional research. Awesome. More of you should do that, not just on this show, but everything else you see on YouTube. But Sango brought up 2 points I want to mention specifically. First, Sango said maybe all men would require less radiation shielding, which would also reduce mass and cost of the trip. I don't think it really works that way. Radiation is more of an all or nothing proposition or close to that, so either you protect everyone or you can't send anyone. But second, Sengo points out that the vision impairment research could be interpreted as indicating that vision issues are age-related rather than sex-related, and that may be true. We don't know. Lack of data, particularly on women, is a major limitation. Now, we don't know that women are immune to vision problems. That's true, and I didn't mean to imply that, but they might be significantly less susceptible. And the point of the episode was to stimulate discussion about how you do cost-benefit analysis and weigh relative risks precisely when you have limited data. You know what I mean? I think a lot of you missed this point. For instance, Mark Arandius and others said that we should send the most qualified people, period. But qualifications have never been the issue. I assumed from the outset that there are ample numbers of equally qualified men and women for every role. The question is how you choose from within that pool to minimize risk and maximize success. Lutrinarius and Frosty pointed out that we should send men and women in order to collect more data on long-term space travel for both sexes. And 99 Sin said that this whole thing seems to boil down to weighing the value of data collection against minimizing mission risk and cost. I fully agree. But Insa Dream Factory put a twist on this by pointing out that an all-woman crew might increase mission risk. There might be long-term negative effects to which women are more susceptible that we haven't even seen yet, and a mixed-sex crew could mitigate the risk of these unknown unknowns. That's an excellent argument. Oban Dorg asked why I didn't bring up osteoporosis as a bigger negative for women, and the reason is that spaceflight basically gives everyone the equivalent of osteoporosis, and so far, men and women seem equally susceptible. It's a tie. Talia Enright pointed out that all these arguments could apply to a #OccupyVenus Cloud City mission. Agreed, but Venus missions are shorter, so the relative cost savings of all-female crews start to become less significant. Finally, Dylan Ballantine brought up science rap topic suggestions since I speak so fast, but PBS already has a science rap show on YouTube. It's called Coma Nitty, hosted by Mike Wilson. The link is below. You should check it out.
Welcome to Smugglers Pub and Cafe, open 7 days a week with free parking all day. Our lunch menus have that fat old-fashioned flavour where we treat you like treasure with the food you'll savour.
We cater for children, grannies and granddads too, with special rates and privileges given to the elderly lunchtime crew. Our staff are friendly and kind and want to see you all come back time after time.
Daytime or evening, it doesn't matter. Give us a call on 546-4084 and we'll be happy to spoil ya.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
I'm Francis from Nelson Auto Glass. We repair all auto glass, stone chips, windscreen replacements, scratch removal.
If you have an auto glass issue, our team will sort it.
Nelson Auto Glass Specialist, 84 Vanguard Street, Nelson.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Hi everyone, I'm Malcolm Harris from The Facilitators. We now look after sales for mainland TV, radio, Sky and online. New Zealand On Air's latest Colmar Brunton survey confirms mainland's large multimedia audience. If you're in business or want to put a message out to everyone in the Nelson Tasman region, plus nationwide on Sky or worldwide online, please give me a call or see our website at www.mainlandtv.nz.
Hi, my name's Ian Mortimer. Mortimer Auto Upholstery is your one-stop shop for all your upholstery needs. We do car and boat interiors, boat canopies, ute tonneau covers, canvas and PVC fabrication. Call in and see us in Oxford Mews, 72 Oxford Street, Richmond.
We're the team at Jaycar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics, toys,
sound systems, cables, and much, much more. Jacob.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.